Hi, this is Michael, and we're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index. So, in my previous idea, I presented a long trade idea basically that said if we break this high, we could be moving up considerably um, quick and into a bull market rally. However, I think it's a good idea to mention that potentially there could be something else going on here. And I say that because always around these areas, when you don't have confirmation, it's easy to assume things, and rightly so. We all want to make money, but sometimes you've got to just think about other potential scenarios that could be in play here. So, with the latest US dollar analysis and also Aussie dollar analysis, I wonder if maybe this wave E is just getting started, right? So before I go down to the small degree and talk about that, what's the one thing that's very obvious here that's a little bit sort of unusual? For a zigzag of this size, what is a little bit unusual to me is the lack of a deeper correction. Um, with the US dollar so high, if it does go higher, what would that mean for the Dow Jones? More than likely it'd go down. And it's not uncommon for price to retrace the previous fourth wave of the third wave. That's true. But you also got to consider that maybe wave E or this setup is a little bit weird and dodgy. The reason I say that is because, for starters, it looks like a five wave move and we're moving higher. So that's already deceptive in and of itself. But one thing that I've seen with corrective patterns is that they tend to wreck people. And what I mean by that is, like, why haven't we seen a 50% retracement or a 0.618 retracement in a structure, especially in a structure that, in terms of symmetry, it hasn't really produced like a big enough correction to look right. Okay. Now, for example, if I took some lines here and I drew this, you probably think, okay, I need to go and learn how to draw. That's true. But what I mean is, like, for a zigzag to look like that, it kind of looks a bit strange. If it was going to be that shallow, we'd at least expect more of a sideways move. And then maybe it might look all right, might look right. But to have something with such a small correction and expect it to go higher, it almost feels like it hasn't built up enough force. It hasn't had enough time to do so. So what that means for me is that potentially, if the correction serves us right, this may go down considerably until we find a support level, which could be 50%, could be 0.618. Beyond that, I don't know. Sounds a bit extreme. But I don't know what the waves will do. I can only sort of provide probabilities. But when it comes to this sort of stage of the correction, that serves as some kind of warning. Okay, so if we go to the 15-minute chart, right, I know this market is not live, right? But just say, for example, right, that this whole structure here is corrective. I mean, it looks kind of corrective, doesn't it? To start off, it looks very corrective. It also looks like this came back to fill the gap. It also looks like a potential zigzag. Um, yeah, like that could be an A, but what's a 5-wave move doing there? So I don't know. Like the Dow Jones has different pattern than the US 30. So why don't we look at both of them, right? So the first thing we should notice is this low here, right? The 20th of December low versus the 23rd of December low. Okay, let's go to the US 30. 20th of December low is lower than on the other chart, on this chart. So which one do you believe? Or do you believe any of them? Because if the first move up is a zigzag, then even though this looks like a 5-wave move, can you really trust it? So that's a problem, right? That's a problem with assuming this is going to go higher. And already you can see that there is weakness in this market, right? It looks very weak. Now, if I'm to try and guess what this is, it's actually harder on this chart for some reason. It just looks harder, right? A, B, C, D, E. Well, if I was to do that, A, B, C, D, E, well, that already looks done. Now, why that would be a zigzag is beyond me, but as I've mentioned before, these things can happen. Okay, the subdivisions can do that sometimes, and we really just don't know. Okay, so it's such a small degree. It's not really a small degree when you think about it, though. But there's a few clues. It's weak as hell. If this was the start of a rally, you probably wouldn't have had a chance to get into it. More than likely, would have gone straight up, probably even sharper. I don't know. That kind of thing makes me a bit weary of this idea that it's going to go up straight away. So potentially this could be already done, right? In terms of fibs, it's 6.618 is just hit it. It's just hit it. With that level of weakness, do you think it can go through the 0.618? I don't know. It's a bit rough. I think it's asking a bit much of the market. So back to the DJI chart, and we can see that that's stuck there too. Obviously, it's not moving. It's frozen. But we still go back to this chart, and we zoom in on the current price action, right? And suddenly, it almost looks like that could pass for a zigzag, right? It could pass for a zigzag more than the other chart, but yet the other chart, it made a new low. So put two and two together, maybe that is an ABC. A, now when I say C, it's a weak C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or not necessarily exactly like that. but it could be. D is a three-wave move. Well, that's kind of wrecked here. Doesn't kind of work, does it? That doesn't make a D. So we've got some more evidence there. All right. So is it possible that we're moving up in potentially 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, and then wave 5. Okay, D could be here. Don't know why that's there. Oh, that's a wave. I thought it was a line. D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be possible too. It's just made a new low. Sorry, just made a new high above the previous mini high. So it could be A, B, C, D, E, right? So pull the fib out on this one, and it's right around the 0.618. Non-reaction, hasn't reacted yet. But when you think about when this market opens and the core CPI coming out in, 3-4 hours, I don't know. That says, I think that says something. I don't know. You could argue with me on that. I'm not American. No, I'm not talking about the times. I'm talking about the idea that this could potentially go lower. And if it goes lower, it's probably going to go far lower. So another thing, the idea, the idea that this is a big A, B, C, D, E, that's deceptive in a way, because it's deceptive that you think this is a five-wave move when it's B, C, D, E potentially, right? Like once again, we've got the scenario where you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Like there's 2, 4, 5s, but only 1, 1, 2. Stuff like that. Like it's easy to just think five-wave moves are the go, just because there's a little break in the middle there. Because it is wave 3, but is it wave 3 of a five-wave move? That's what I'm getting at. So ultimately, um, choppy markets, choppy charts, like make up your mind. You either know the waves or you don't. Choppiness isn't the end or be all of your analysis. It still could help you in a way understand that five-wave moves are not corrections. One five-wave move is not a correction. It's just a five-wave move. So for that to be a C makes sense. Very small C indeed, tiny C. But what about everything else? It could definitely go south from here just to get a proper pullback. Now, this is thought provoking. That's all. Maybe it will go up. Maybe that wave E is done. But remember, wave E is a five-wave move. Because we saw a small wave C, maybe we can assume that, oh, well, wave E is small. That's normal. But, we know that being an Elliotician will get you in trouble. So if you're an Elliotician, you go, oh, that's a zigzag, that's a zigzag, that's a triple zigzag. That's a classic move. I'm going to go long. Probably that's why this whole thing expanded upwards. Who knows? Bunch of Ellioticians out there going crazy. But the point here is to try and be a little bit more, in depth with the analysis rather than just whatever analysis. Like whatever analysis will just make you lose money, to be honest. So I don't care if you don't act on my ideas. I'm not here for you to just listen to me and do what I say. I'm not a financial advisor. All I'm doing is giving you ideas. maybe you've got some methodology that really is amazing and it works for you, and something I say in one of my videos to help might make you think, bring some inspiration or a little spark to what you're doing. If it does that, then my job is done. Thanks for watching.